Hi everybody, welcome back to another episode of CYT-Crypto. My name is Stephen Aitchison. This is the second live I've done today. So this is the interview with Paul Johnson, the CIO of BaaB. I know everybody's... let's put this off. I know everybody's waiting on the kind of announcement with Verge. I think they've done the announcement already, so a lot of people would be waiting on that. But today is all about kind of BaaB and Paul Johnson. This is a brilliant interview. I think you're going to really like the information in this. And at the end of this interview, I'll kind of share with you exactly how to win the 100,000 BAX tokens as well. I'm just going to make sure everybody's in and in the house. Yep, we've got a lot of people in just now. So without further ado, I'm going to share the interview with Paul Johnson just now for you, but bear with me a wee second. Hi everybody, welcome to another CYT Crypto episode. My name is Stephen Aitchison. Today is the second day of the BaaB promotion. So a lot of people were asking me, why are you doing a BaaB promotion? I'm doing a BaaB promotion kind of off my own back because I've now invested in BaaB and I'm now a community member of BaaB as well. I'm nothing to do with the team. The team is not paying me or anything like that. But because I'm a community member now, it's up to me as part of my reason to be a kind of community member is to contribute to that community as well. And this is my way of contributing to the BaaB community by doing this kind of promotion, because it helps me, it's going to help the team, and it's going to help everybody else that's invested in BaaB as well, to make it available, to make it more widely known to everybody else. Although I've got a small channel, every little helps, and that's what we should be doing as community members. So today I've got a really special interview with Paul Johnson. So I interviewed Paul on Friday, and it was earlier on today actually. I'm just doing this video kind of in advance. And it was a really good interview. There was no kind of fluff, there was no kind of bullshit there, was nothing like that at all. It was just a straightforward, great interview with great information for anybody that doesn't really know about BaaB. So as you know, we're also running the competition to get 100,000 BAX tokens, which is a BaaB token. So what to do, if you check out the description in this video as well, I'll tell you exactly what you need to do in order to be one of the lucky winners in this competition. So we're running it on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So you can do that by checking out the description down below. And I'm going to ask you 3 questions about BaaB. So you have to do a wee bit of homework. And if you really want 100,000 BAX tokens, which are probably worth about £100 just now, but next year could be worth 1,000, could be worth 2,000, you just never know. So it's worth entering this competition, and I'll tell you exactly what to do in the description. But for now, enjoy this brilliant interview with Paul Johnson, the Chief Information Officer, the CIO, with myself on Friday the 13th of April. Okay, enjoy, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care. Okay, hi everybody, welcome back to another CYT Crypto episode. My name is Stephen Aitchison. Today I've got a very special interview with the CIO of BaaB, and we've been talking about BaaB for the last week or so, and you can see the prices kind of shot up by about 100% over the last week, which is fantastic. So I've got Paul Johnson on with me today. He's the CIO, the Chief Information Officer, and so we're just going to have a quick interview with Paul just to see kind of his thoughts on BaaB and what's going on for the future of BaaB as well, because it looks really exciting what's going on at BaaB just now. So Paul, thank you very much for agreeing to this. I know you're really, really busy, and so I really appreciate you coming on.
No problem at all, Stephen. A pleasure.
First of all, okay, we'll just dive straight into it then, Paul. We've got a couple of questions from people we'll ask at the end if we've got time. But for anybody that doesn't really know about BaaB, can you tell us kind of what BaaB is and what its the kind of vision is for BaaB as well? Just a kind of brief introduction to it for anybody that doesn't know.
Yeah, absolutely. So the proposition of BaaB is to provide a banking service or banking accounts for the microeconomy and I call it the underserved. So that can be the underbanked or the unbanked, or people who are genuinely unhappy with the banking services they get. So that's the very high level proposition. That's our target audience. It's a worldwide capability. And we're hoping to provide banking licenses not only in the UK but elsewhere around the world as well, because of Brexit and passporting and such forth. So we're working on a few things altogether. obviously based on blockchain and using very advanced technologies, which gives us a very cost-effective to the customer way of using payment methods between each other, and a very fast and secure way of getting foreign exchange when they're abroad, making payments between each other or loans between each other, and ultimately in merchants as well. So you can use the BABB Black Card, the variants of it in merchants to actually pay for things without the merchant paying 3 to 5% Visa or MasterCard sort of charges.
Brilliant. And obviously I've kind of looked over the white paper for that, and it looks, what you're doing, it looks like a big, ambitious project, to be honest. And I know you've got a time scale for that, and the initial thing that you're working on just now, I kind of watched your video as well when you were talking about the banking license. Where are we, or where are you with the kind of banking license just now? Are you still in kind of pre-application phase, or where are you just now with the banking license?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are 3 regulators we're talking to very seriously at the moment, in different geographic regions, and they all take slightly different times and require just slightly different things. We are in pre-application. One of the challenges that a company like BaaB is going to have, and we will have, and we aren't fooling ourselves, is that not only are we applying for a banking license that's quite difficult to get anyway, we're also the first blockchain orientated company servicing the market segment that we are doing. Most new banks, challenger banks, they're referred to as, usually use standard technologies. They've got standard market segments, verticals typically, and that takes them still 9 to 12 months to get through. So we're in a, if I call it an education process, both for us and for the regulators, to make them feel comfortable, especially as we have the crypto dynamic. I sold BAX, although that's under a different entity, it's under BABB Group, it's under a different entity, just so not to confuse the regulators as to, we aren't a crypto bank, we are we will provide banking services, not lending, banking services, and we have underneath the skin, how it all works is the cryptocurrency will be used for things like payment methods, and you can transfer BAX as well. So it's an education process. So my assessment is we hopefully will land one of the banking licenses even with restrictions, and that's okay for us, in either Q4 or Q1 next year. Q4 this year, sorry, Q1 next year.
Right, and that's either one of them, so that could be the BOE kind of license, or one of the, because you're looking over and going to go over to Bahrain, is that correct? And maybe
Lithuania, we've got meetings with the regulator in Lithuania and with Bahrain too.
In Bahrain as well. So I guess the license application will be different in Lithuania and Bahrain as compared to the BOE. I would imagine if you get the BOE license, that'll be big kudos, and going to the likes of Lithuania and kind of Bahrain, that'll make it much easier to get their license as well if you get the BOE. Is that a different application process, or is it similar? The
Lithuanian and the UK are similar because they come under the ECB, European Central Bank rules. So they're very similar. But you're right in saying, absolutely correct in saying that there's a lot of kudos. If you can get a BOE license, it is held in high esteem. And that's obviously, the UK market is very important to us, but also we want to work within a really well-controlled framework to secure our customers and to provide everyone confidence. So this isn't about just getting a tick in a box, just saying, look what we've got. There's a real purpose to it. Otherwise, we could just do normal payments for e-money licenses and such forth. But that doesn't give the customers security around their cash they're holding with us. So that's what we think is really key.
So that is going to be key. But you're in the pre-application kind of phase just now, you said. But once you kind of go through this, I guess the next stage would be, okay, you're going to get your kind of restricted license. So would that be still the end of Q4, or would that be a quicker one, and then the full license would be maybe Q4, Q1?
So if I don't want to promise dates at the moment because like a lot of these, we're in control of our own development cycle. We have to please others and we have to work to their timelines a bit. So let me explain. So in the UK, there is something called an application with restrictions. Once you apply, you then go into a restricted mode where you mobilise, they assess you, etc. And then you have a second phase before they will actually give you a full licence. The time will vary depending on the comfort levels and actually the speed that we can work at, because we're trying to do a lot of things at the same time. In Lithuania, though, they don't have a restricted licence. It's a very specific thing to the UK, but what we will go for in Lithuania is something called a specialised licence, which is a full licence, but it just means that it will meet just the requirements we have, and that's things like deposit taking, guarantee of deposits, being able to do treasury activity, and some overdraft type of facilities that we're considering for some of the accounts. So, which is a loan in effect. But we don't want to do, certain trading, specific FX trading. We don't want to do those sort of things. So they do a specialised licence, and that's what we're talking to them about. Bahrain's very different altogether.
Easier or?
I'll tell you after we have the meeting with them in May. What we do know is that we've had a really, really positive meeting from the delegates from Bahrain, and they're really keen for us to go and speak to them. So they actually invited us. We didn't go out there to seek support from them. So we got really excellent support from them to look at partnerships, potential investments if we want it, and also meetings with both the central bank and localised banks if we want to set up any partnerships over there. And they're actually leading a lot of that for us, actually.
Ah, that's fantastic. So tell me this, Paul, then, if you get... So what's the difference if you get, just say, for example, you didn't get the Bank of England one, you didn't get the Lithuanian one, but you got the Bahrain one? Well, where's the difference? Because anybody from the world can still sign up for the bank account using the BABB kind of app if you have the Bahrain kind of banking license. Is that correct?
I believe so. One of the things we need to check is about who can open accounts. But if you fully KYC people, the principle should be that you can do that. So actually, as long as we get one, we should be able to go to market fully in the way that the way we forecast. The optimal model would be to have more than one, because we can segment the customer bases a bit. There's about data. Where do you hold data under DPA and GDPR and all those sort of overlays that a lot of people who aren't involved in banking don't understand what that all means. But it just means we have to be very cautious on segregation of data and such forth. Although, as we've always said, is actually the customer owns all the data anyway, so we don't want their data. We only need certain parts of it for money laundering and legal regulatory things, and that's primarily around reporting, in effect.
So the GDPR, I mean, you're going to be fully compliant with that anyway, with the new GDPR kind of rules coming out.
Absolutely.
So what you've got just now, the setup you've got just now, you're more or less, you are fully compliant with the GDPR, so that's not really going to affect you as a company, is it?
So we're in a very privileged position in that we haven't got legacy, and the way that the technology is designed means that we will be compliant inherently. And GDPR, there's two big things about GDPR is ownership of data and who uses what. And we're saying the customer owns all of their data. So if they want to sell their data and make some money to a marketing company or something, they can click a button and they can shoot off and get paid for it. So it's actually a money-making capability for the people on the network.
Excellent.
And on the flip side of that, is the right to be forgotten. So that's another big GDPR thing. Because it's on the blockchain, we've worked out a way of a right to be forgotten instantly. Apart from the regulatory data has to be kept for 5 years or 7 years, there's some rules around, for things like money laundering. If someone does money laundering, somebody says, I want to be forgotten, no wonder. there are some legal things that you have to hold, but most of the things just get deleted or locked. We actually lock the data that we can never see it.
That's what I was going to ask. So how does that work on the blockchain? If somebody's got the right to be forgotten, how would that work on the blockchain? But you've just kind of answered that there. So you lock it. So I
don't want to give any of our little technical secrets away, because obviously we've got our IP and patents and things like that, so that we're working on. So, but that's the idea. So how it's locked and where it's locked, is an internal thing. But the principle is that on a blockchain you can't forget the data necessarily.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So you have to, in a way, ensure that no one can access it. That's what we need to do.
Right, so that's kind of a new thing, because I've never heard about that before. I've never heard of it. So you've got a kind of patent for that just now. How important is that going to be for you for BaaB, for the whole kind of ethos of BaaB?
It's not critical, because there's like lots of things. There's lots of ways to slice a cake, right? So, but we want to optimize our way, and sort of. Under a GDPR, obviously you have to have a right to be forgotten, so therefore you've got to do something with that data. Yep. We've gone through lots of scenarios, and we think we've come up with a good way of doing that, and that is exactly what we'll patent and implement.
Brilliant. So there's a lot of innovative stuff that you're actually doing, that you're coming up with as well.
I must say, obviously I've been around, as you can tell from my age, I've been around in banking for a bit. And what we're doing is the most innovative technology, and actually even the proposition that I've ever come across. And because we are starting afresh, we haven't got all of the baggage that we're having to try and rectify things. So it helps us massively. And I'm truly, I wouldn't be here otherwise, I'm truly excited about some of the ideas we're coming up. And we are modelling things every day. Actually, we may need to just change certain aspects slightly. It's all about optimization. Fail quickly and then succeed, fail quickly and succeed. And we're doing that really quickly. And I think the team on in the whole are more and more confident, and actually more and more excited about this is really achievable, and this is going to be fun.
Well, when I was reading the white paper, I thought, you can't do all this. This is just, it seemed too kind of innovative and too kind of out there. Nobody else was doing all the stuff. I thought, if they could manage to do even a kind of fraction of what they're talking about, you'd think this could really be absolutely huge. For you, BaaB, as a company, obviously for you as well, and kind of CEO, but I just got really excited about it, and that's why I kind of wanted to do this. But you kind of mentioned there you've been in banking. Can you give us a wee bit of your background then as well?
Yes, so I've done a number of things in banking, so primarily in technology. I headed up for GMAC, the financial services arm of that. I was the CRO, CIO around Europe. I looked after a bit of South America, looking at things there as well. I was at Lloyds Bank, Wealth and International, primarily around payment systems, the operations, how it all worked, and the technology that underpinned that. Yeah. And then, last but not least, I was at Aldermore Bank, which is a challenger bank, breaking into the market, and I was the CIO there, taking them through the technology elements and going through an IPO. So flotation on the stock market, and the growth at Aldermore, if anyone looks them up, was fantastic, and it was a great company too. But it's a different type of company. They're very SME orientated, more traditional technologies. BaaB is a different market entirely, and the technology is fantastic. It's really exciting.
So you've had the experience of doing an IPO, which is similar to an ICO, which you've kind of gone through already and have been a successful one as well. So you've got that experience, and obviously with that comes a lot of pressure as well, I would imagine. And I would imagine you're going through kind of some pressures just now, but good pressure as well. But with the whole everything that you're doing just now, what is it that you're focused on just now? I know I would imagine the banking license, but you've also got the kind of innovations coming out with the biometrics, the AI coming out, the black card as well. So is it the kind of banking license that you're really focused on as well?
Well, me personally or the team?
The team.
Okay, so we have a number of strands going on here. And to apply for a banking license, this is not about ticking some boxes.
Yeah.
We need to truly validate our customer base, do customer research, price points. There's no point using Accenture data around there are 2 billion customers. We know that, so that's the target. But it's how, why, where, and when, and how much will they pay for the services. So there's lots of market research going on. There's also we're having to develop really detailed customer journeys on every element, all through the KYC process. So there's the teams doing that, and just behind me over this side. And all of that then flows into the financial models, so remodeling the financial models. All of this feeds into the regulatory business plan. And then you've got the technology that also feeds in. So it really is multi-streamed at the moment, but all with 2 outcomes. One is getting the license, or a license. And the second is to developing the application, which is going to be fantastic for the user and is going to get the penetration that we require. Obviously, I can't share all of our innovation, but I think when we go to market, we've obviously been working through this last couple of weeks. People will be really excited about what's been provided, because it may, it's maybe the white paper and a little bit more excitement in there. Right. So I think it's a really exciting time for us. So to answer your question, loads of stuff going on, all with 2 outputs: application delivery and the RBP. So regulatory business plan. That is.
For anybody that doesn't know, I didn't know that. Yeah. The app then, that's due to kind of be released kind of in November, is that right? November this year?
We put Q4 in our schedule, absolutely. We've had some really good sessions with our technologists talking about exactly how we should do it, and making sure the first release of the application is something something that's really useful. Yep. And we will sort of beta it a bit, probably, sort of saying a selected 10,000 or 5,000 user group or something, and probably out of our existing community. So we're still looking at Q4. But what we don't want to do, and hopefully no one will be disappointed by this, is just release something, and then actually when you go to market, it's not very useful. So we want to make sure it's a real good value proposition.
So you're not looking to release a minimal viable product. You want a kind of a really good product from the gate, just out straight out the gate.
No, so there will be an MVP, minimum viable product, but it still needs to be useful. Yeah. It still needs to be secure. You still need to be able to get money in and get money out. Otherwise, all you're going to get is it just be like a skeleton of something which won't prove anything. And it won't really give any excitement to the customers. We can develop lots of buttons now, and it does some things in the background. We've done that once, but this needs to be useful. Yeah. And actually, the great thing about it is when we get that out, it also validates to the regulators that we have the KYC process in place, and we can get the reports out. So it actually serves 2 purposes: one to the market and one validation to the regulators, because they need something that fills them with confidence that we aren't some sort of tin pot company who's a great idea, but we can't actually deliver something that is really secure and compliant as well as exciting.
And that's going to help, obviously, like you're saying there, with the banking license as well for the regulators.
Exactly. The latter part of mobilisation of getting full banking licenses is exactly that, mobilisation. So you need your technology in place, and things like disaster recovery and all those sorts of things you've got to prove. So we need to have enough there to be able to say to them, see, we said we'd do this, and look, here's the evidence. And that's the aim.
That's excellent. What about the kind of biometrics then, that side of it? Because I know, from my understanding from the white paper, the KYC process is obviously you're going to have to upload your ID, like a passport or something like that, for the KYC, just like a KYC and an ICO that you would do. But for the biometric side of it, if you've not got, say, a passport or a driving license, is this where the biometrics comes in? Or is everybody going to have to do that?
Everyone should have biometrics. It's the most secure way of logging into your application without having to type in, so you can't get any keystroke cyber security issues. So there will be voice and facial recognition and biometrics, and we could do geolocation as well to make sure that no one's stolen a phone or being able to mimic it and things like that. But we will be putting at the app end, the front end, a biometric solution, and we're working on that already.
Right, so the biometric solution then, but if I was going to sign up, say I'm going to get the app, and I'd done the KYC process, would I still need the kind of biometric side of it?
So the first thing you do, so obviously this is about user journeys now, so the first thing you do is put your name and address in, and then maybe a date of birth, and then take a picture, say some words, and then that is your entry point to any of the accounts, even a wallet, not a bank account.
Right.
So because we need to know you're you. So when you come back on, instead of having to type in passwords and stuff like that, you just look at your phone and it'll recognise you and it'll open the app.
Brilliant. So you're saying that's kind of level 1?
So that is the entry to all levels. So you go in and then there are tiers of products. There are two wallet products, and the second product is part of our social KYC.
Yeah.
And I'll save the excitement for later, exactly how that works. But it's a wallet still. You have to have full KYC, which is evidence to your documentation, passport, or address, confirmation, etc. You have to do that for a bank account.
Yep.
No matter which country you're in, you have to do that to get a bank account. So that's at the point where you enter call it a protected by the regulatory institutes, your cash.
Brilliant.
The rest of wallets, yeah.
And I guess the next level up from that, if we're kind of talking on levels, is if you're going to get a loan or something, a peer-to-peer loan or something like that, would that be like the next level up?
There are. You can do that while you're fully KYC'd. You can do that when you're fully KYC'd at any level. KYC. But as I say, this is the without going into too much detail about exactly the levels just yet, if that's okay. Yeah. There will be announcements, because if I say things now and then actually find, it won't quite work like that, or I don't want to spoil the fun or let anyone down, but the principles still are maintained at that point.
Brilliant.
If that makes sense.
One thing I wanted to, I know we're kind of taking up, I thought this was only going to take 20 minutes or something, but it's going to take a wee bit longer if that's okay, Paul.
I'll try. If someone knocks on the door.
The second phase of the token sale, that's a part I didn't really understand. Why is there a second phase of the token sale? Okay,
so the reason, and this is best with Adam, because they drove this side of things.
Yeah.
In high-level principle, we want to be very diligent. We didn't want to be like if I say, like some ICOs who go out and get lots and lots of money, and then they don't manage that money effectively.
Yeah.
And what they end up doing is burning money left, right and centre and not still delivering. So we wanted to give almost like people a guarantee that we will only raise a second tranche of ICO funding on the delivery of two main deliverables, and that's the app and a license.
Right.
And it is almost a promise to our customers and our investors that we want to do this diligently. And actually, interestingly, the FCA, which is one of the regulators in the UK, did offer some sort of guidance around ICO. It was a while ago, and one of the good things we've been able to do in the meeting, so we have stuck to that, absolutely. So it proves that we want to do things properly, and we don't want to just get lots of money in and then run off in the night and all those sorts of things. We're a serious company with serious investment profiles and with serious a contribution to the economy, and that's what we're trying to achieve.
And that's, I guess, the whole ethos behind what you're doing anyway, is a contribution to the kind of global economy, not just the UK economy, it's the global economy you're making a contribution to.
It's the global economy, and the exciting thing is that it can, or it could, actually generate wealth for people who have never been able to generate wealth through, some cash they might have if they're in Africa somewhere and they've never had a way of doing that, but they can actually now generate wealth for themselves, even through their data. So this is about wealth generation for our customer base. And that's why one of the reasons we aren't doing lending ourselves, because otherwise it's a BABB wealth generation instead of a customer-based wealth generation. It's a totally different concept.
Now, I know this part, when you're on that as well, about the kind of lending side. Now, I know this is further down the line, so I'm going to ask you anyway. If somebody was, and this was one of the questions, if somebody was to give out a loan, say it's peer-to-peer, so they're not kind of getting a loan from BaaB as such as peer-to-peer lending. Am I correct in thinking that? Yeah.
It's customer to customer, peer-to-peer. Yeah, but only if I may just make sure so what we would always suggest, because it's about de-risking the loan, okay, is that you want to, on your app, you'll have all your friends and family on. That'll be your primary peer-to-peer lending route. Right. But then there will be, we would have verified people as well. There may be merchants of some sort, and they might do lending to you as well. But what we want to do is try and minimise the risk of non-payment and disruption and distress for our customers. So there will be banding as you go through my friends and family, they can't lend me anything. Then there'll be a tighter network. Then there'll be other. And the warnings on the screen may say, are you double sure you want to do this?
Yeah.
Because you've never met this person, you have no knowledge about them. But we will have, what we're planning maybe to do is have a credit rating, 5-star, 3-star. This person always pays it back. This person's only got 3 stars or whatever. A bit like the Uber type of ideology is satisfaction rating. So over time, their record of being trusted can be shared. But again, the customer is in control if they want to share that information. And if I want to borrow money, or if I'm going to lend money, I should say, I would probably make sure that they are showing it, and they're probably 4 or 5 stars at least.
Yeah. So it's a bit like you say on Uber and kind of eBay or something like that. You always check out the reviews first. If they've only got one review or something as a 1-star review, you wouldn't buy from them. So it's a bit like that, I would guess as well.
Yeah, apart from your friends and family, because you know them. If your mum doesn't pay you back, or your son or your daughter, which actually most of the time my daughters and sons don't pay me back.
I know what you mean.
But I expect that. That's called a gift, I think.
Yeah.
Sort of you would hopefully go down those routes first, but obviously some of this is going to take a bit of time for the maturity of the network to build. It won't be there instantly. So, we will make sure we can protect or at least advise our customers as much as possible. But at the end of the day, it's a peer-to-peer loan.
Yeah.
We are lending, so we can't guarantee it. We can only give you the framework to work within to help you assess your own risk.
There's not going to be an insurance as such.
No, we are also looking at an insurance overlay, which won't be called BABB insurance. We're looking at insurance as well. So you may be able to. We haven't developed this yet, but just in high level, you may be able to buy insurance as part of your loan.
Right, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Perfect.
But we need to work on that and get a partner, because we do not want to be an insurance broker.
Yeah, because that would be getting into too much then, I would guess, as well.
There's risk, complexity, different licenses. We definitely don't want to be in that, but we'd like to give potentially our customers the option to have that.
Brilliant. Love it. And I think that was one of the questions we had. One of the things I'm interested in as well, I'm just aware of the time, one of the things I'm really interested in is the banks releasing their own kind of currency. What do you call that, Paul? CB?
Yeah, it's like the Japanese just bought one of the exchanges, haven't they? I can't remember what it's called now, but exactly, it's centralised cryptocurrency, isn't it?
That's it, yeah. Yeah. I was interested in where the banks are going to release their own currency. It's just going to be fiat, but it's going to be in a crypto kind of level. Now you've got the integration and the platform for that as well. Is that going to be something kind of a big part of it, or is that just something that you've got the capability to do?
Let's say we have the capability to do it.
Right.
Opportunities arise day in, day out. We're very much got a vision at the moment, but there are other opportunities that we may look at investigating in the future. But what we don't want to get is distracted too much of building what we've got. Otherwise, we'll sit with all great ideas, we could do this, do that, and then we actually miss the target. We'd rather hit the target and then diversify if we think it's appropriate.
Right, because that's when I was looking at the white paper and I was kind of reading it, I was going, holy shit, they can do that, and then I was going, holy shit, they can do that as well. So you've got the black card, the app, you've got the biometrics, you've got the AI, you've got the there's kind of central bank's currency as well, if they're going to go down that route as well. Then there's loads of stuff that you could actually do with it. And I was getting kind of even one of those, like the peer-to-peer lending, just that in and of itself could make a company. But you're doing so much more than that.
It's very exciting. I think it's fair to say, Stephen. Yeah, it is really exciting. And, but there's a lot of effort. So let's not kid ourselves. There's a lot of effort and a lot of time. There's a lot of sleepless nights with the team. I think we're all messaging around 3 o'clock in the morning and such forth. So that's what we want to stay focused on, what our primary aim is.
Brilliant.
Otherwise, we get distracted, and we also don't want to worry any of the regulators, as it were. I think we're going to sort of skew off into different directions, and that isn't our aim. Our aim is to achieve what we've said in the white paper, and then other opportunities might come along that we can even run in a separate company under BABB, potentially, not under a regulated arm. So, but they're all in the future.
Brilliant.
I could do at least with 3 hours sleep a night. So having more things going on would be a bit more difficult.
Right, I've got one more question for you, and everybody's probably going to ask this, and they probably asked you or loads of people in the group, in the Telegram group. What about the exchanges, coming to more exchanges? Obviously, we're on the Banker Network, we're on IDEX just now as well. Any more plans? Well, no, you've got plans, but any more news? Is there a scoop?
It's on DDEX. So DDEX.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
So we're on 4 at the moment, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, that's right.
We've been discussing with exchanges, and I know that the guys are going to be doing some communications around why we are taking the approach we are in the very near future. So I'd rather let the experts and exchanges do that, because frankly I'm not. But there's really good logic around the approaches we're trying to take. And I won't go into the details, but if anyone's tried to get on exchanges before and some of the nuances of it, they'll understand fully.
I've seen how you get on the exchange and kind of like the Binance and stuff like that, how difficult the process can be. So I was just wondering if there was a scoop there or something, but obviously not. Obviously,
no. See, I'm much more politically aware.
Very quickly, I'm just going to go through a couple of questions, if that's okay, that we got asked, and probably you've asked them already. Okay. This is from, I don't know how to pronounce the name, Denima. It's saying, is BaaB going to have a savings or account that can generate interest or BAX?
So we have no plans for a savings account at this point in time. The only thing apart from keeping cash in your account is potential overdraft for qualifying accounts. So no savings just yet.
No savings. There's not going to be a proof of stake or anything like that, is it, Paul?
No.
There's not. Right, I thought that was just to clarify. That was one question I forgot to ask. A question from Fetsy. Question: how will BaaB help fight poverty? It will, just as microcredit.
Okay, so I think there's a number of things. I think, and this is one of our main names. Rushdie, the founder, he's really passionate about this. Is how do you spread wealth and wealth elsewhere? So fighting poverty is tricky, but what we can enable is through the fundraising element of BaaB's capabilities for localized fundraisers to raise funds from the community without the overheads of they're great charities, but there's a lot of overheads when they distribute money and stuff. So there can be direct fundraising for good causes, and they would have to come to us for us to authorise it, because we don't want anyone sort of raising money for a new car.
Yeah.
So we have to do a proper authorisation, and it will be controlled by smart contracts about distribution of money. But that's how we want to help the unprivileged in the world, actually, or the more poverty areas. And that's what we talk about Kenya, sort of countries like Kenya and sort of in Africa and places like that. So there can be local fundraising exercises. Hope that answers your question.
So, yeah, and that's one of the big value propositions of BaaB as well, because, like you say, Rusty that is a big thing for him as well, which is good. Well, thank you very much for that. Marcel, is there a percentage how often applications get rejected? I guess this is for the BOE, kind of Bank of England license application.
I honestly don't know. I know that some companies get them and hand them back because the cost of maintaining the licenses is quite expensive. Things like the capital requirement and such forth. But I don't know the percentage at all. So I've only dealt with the ones that have been successful so far.
Why would you deal with the ones that failed?
Yeah, exactly. I would admit anyway.
Another question from Marcel. There's only a couple of questions to go, Paul. Maybe I missed the update. If not, what's the actual process by the other application in which countries they talk? So we've discussed that already. So we've talked about the other application process. So we'll skip that one. Thanks for that, Marcel. And I think we've answered this one as well. Perhaps the importance and the progress of patents to the project, will they be crucial to fending off competition, or are they just a nice to have?
They are nice to have. It wouldn't stop us making progress and going to market. The importance lies on the value proposition and differentiation of BaaB. You know, if we can do something really clever and protect that, it just means competitors who want to do the same thing have got to think of a different way of doing it. So they are important, but they aren't obstructive to us going to market if we don't have them.
Excellent. And that was from Alex H. And we've got one from Martin Doom. We've answered this already. So Martin was asking, assuming you're going to lend money to someone, say things take a bad turn, are they going to pay it back? So we've kind of answered that as well. So that was from Martin Doom. Paul, thank you so much for being. Is there anything you think you should be able, or you think we should know about this kind of I've not covered in this interview? Have we covered kind of everything that you think we should have?
I think we have. We covered the technology, the licenses, the proposition. What I would like to say, genuinely, I'd like to say thanks for all the support we've had from our community. We've been really pleased about that. And I guess what they need to know is that we need them as much as they need us. Yeah. In fact, we probably need them more than they need us. But that's probably it, I think.
Brilliant. Well, I have to say you have built up a brilliant community across all the platforms. Twitter, kind of Reddit, you've got Telegram as well, and Facebook. So, and YouTube as well, across all the platforms. You've done brilliant that way, so I really commend you on that. But Paul, really the best of luck with everything, and thank you so much for taking the time out to do this as well.
Thank you very much indeed. A pleasure.
Thanks. Take care.
Bye-bye, Stephen.
Hi everybody, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that interview with Paul Johnson. I think you'll agree he was really open, he was honest, politically correct as well about some of the answers he was given as well. Obviously couldn't say too much on exchanges, but since that interview BaaB have released something about the exchanges and the ethos behind that as well. All good, it's all good. Also another point as well, he didn't know about the success rates of the companies that applied. So I found that out. I did some digging. Under the Freedom of Information Act, I wrote to the Bank of England as well. But I did some digging and I put a document in the chat area as well where you can see that information about the success rates. And when I read that, it gave me even more confidence in BaaB, because what's happening, the success rate, the people that go for the initial interview, 24% of the companies that go for the initial interview will get the license. So that is the success rate from that kind of stage. If they get to the third stage in the pre-application form, 67% will get the application license, will get the license granted as well. So it gave me even more confidence when I read that from the Bank of England, and I put that in the kind of chat area. I put a PDF download there, so you can check that out as well. So that was really good as well. So I'm just going to go to the chat area just now and just see. I'll just kind of pop this up, pop out chat. I'll not be on for very much longer. I know yous are all busy just now, so I'll just kind of put this in this area just to see if there's any quick questions to clear up. Great, thanks Stephen and Paul, Martin, Sonia, Jan, Stephen, thanks for that. Thanks for your efforts. Filet mignon, NDGSI, well done Stephen. Mark Kenneth, great interview mate. Time for bed. Yeah. Brian K, superb interview Stephen. I've been invested since the ICO, but Paul has completely exceeded my expectations of BaaB as a company. Exciting times ahead. Really, really excited about BaaB, particularly after that interview, after I found out the information from the Bank of England, kind of the success rates and stuff like that. I think is all good for BaaB from here. I'm definitely holding. I've not sold any coins yet, but with the giveaway, what to do after this video has finished doing a live, it will be put onto YouTube just as a normal video, and you can put in the comments area there any comments that you'd like to kind of comment about this video. Like the video, subscribe if you've not subscribed already, and put in your Ethereum wallet address after this video, not in the chat area. Once the video has gone kind of up on YouTube, you'll be able to check it out, and I'll put a link in the Telegram group if you're in the Telegram group as well. But thank you everybody for and Dave, does Paul have his big boy pants on? Yes, I would imagine he does, hiked really tightly. So thanks very much for joining me. I really appreciate it. We've got one more kind of video for tomorrow in the kind of BaaB promotion, and that's exactly how to buy BAX using the Banker network. I know a lot of you have kind of done that already. I've showed you a lot how to do it, but I'll do a video specifically on that, how you can buy it with your debit card as well, and I'll get that done tomorrow for you. It'll be another live video in the afternoon as well as in the morning, and I'll announce the winner for today's 100,000 BAX giveaway tomorrow morning on my live, and I'll write to the person as well, put that on this video as well. So thanks again everybody for joining me. Really appreciate you, and I will speak to you tomorrow. Until then, namaste. Take care. Bye now.